That's what just came out of my engine. Let's get into it.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. So I thought I'd give the bike a real good service this morning. And yes, I'm in the middle of the project rebuild, but I thought I'd go through everything anyway. The engine's going to be stripped down in the winter anyway. I know it's got a Duff third gear anyway, but I thought, you know what, let me check this spark plug clearance, let me check the valve gaps and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I've done that. I've got the spark plug out and I've gone around the bike and done what I needed to do, but then I decided to warm up the engine and you know what, drop the oil and see what was what. And look what I found. All bits and pieces. Now, some of you might say, yes, you need to look at your oil to diagnose what's gone on here and the health of your engine, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely true, I suppose, but I don't think you need an engineering degree to see what's happened here. All bits and pieces have come out of the engine, and yeah, it's obvious that the gearbox is foobarred. Well, the one gear, I mean, it definitely looks like the cog has disintegrated, or part of it is disintegrated, and that's what I'm expecting to find when I eventually open up the engine. Now, you've basically got the main shaft and you've got the counter shaft in the gearbox. Two shafts. I'm sure you know what a motorcycle gearbox looks like, but two shafts. One is driven by the engine, the other shaft is driving the rear wheel, and you've got different fork sliders that move the cogs along to engage different gears, for want of a better word. I'm sure there's a better explanation out there, and when I do the full engine breakdown, I'll show you all this anyway. But it's obvious that one of those gears is totally disintegrated, and on this engine you've got an oil pump as well, so it's not sort of splash lubricated. There is pumping action going on, and the gearbox itself is kind of fed from that oil pump, so the engine side of it is almost sealed, for want of a better word, and then that oil is driven into the gearbox, and then that goes down to the sump itself. So it's the last part of the chain, if you know what I mean, in the oil lubrication system, as it were. So I'm confident that when I dropped out the drain plug on the side of the engine, actually all these bits and pieces that are coming out, that's actually just coming out of the gearbox itself, and it's not floating around the engine as well. So I've drained it all out. Actually, what I did, I flushed it out with more engine oil. Now, I know you can, get engine flushes and that kind of thing, but considering what I found as well, I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some oil through it, just start it up again, warm it through, then drop that oil again. Basically, I ran 3 lots of oil through it just to get it, and I aim to put another load of oil through it as well. It only takes 1.2 litres anyway, and when you top it up, you actually top it up just a litre, because there's always residual oil in there, 200ml in this case, in this engine. So the moral of the story is, yeah, always service your bike or keep it regularly maintained. Now, I suppose if you've got a brand new bike, you may not do these kinds of things on a regular basis. And one of the reasons why this bike is in such a sorry state, or the problems that I find with it, or I am finding with it, it's because that it was just totally neglected. And if you neglect these things, they kind of mount up, and over a period of time, this is what happens. If you can, now if you watch a lot of my videos when I was talking about Harley Davidsons and things like that, or general motorcycle maintenance, I'm a great believer in just doing all those little things, on a regular basis, and that will fend off, or you hope that will fend off the big failures. So, regular oil changes, regular filter changes, regular greasing of bearings, let's say, all that kind of stuff. Make sure everything is torqued down to its correct specification. All those kinds of things make for a healthy bike, as it were. Yeah, so you kind of wish that the previous owner had maintained the bike in any way, shape or form. So anyway, this engine, as I keep on saying, will be dropped and split apart. I know that that third gear has to be replaced, but because it's on the both shafts as well, you're not just going to change the one gear, the third gear, let's say in this case on the one shaft. You really need to change both gears, and I've got a feeling that's not the only damage in that gearbox as well. So I'm fully prepared to change the whole thing if need be, and that includes shafts and other gears and all the washers. So it might be just how can I put this, more efficient, let's say, just to get a complete gearbox unit, both shafts from the parts supplier. But I'll see what I find when I open this up. But for now, the engine is running sweet, no problems at all. I've changed the grade of oil. It should be a 2050. I've put a 1040 in there right now. I just want to see how that works out with it. I've got a feeling that's going to help to clear out the system a little bit. I'm going to be doing regular oil changes, and when I say regular oil changes, virtually take it out for a ride, bring it back, drop the oil, put more oil in, take it out for another ride on next week or whatever, then drop the oil. I really want to keep this engine really clean as much as possible. Then what I'll do, I'll put the correct oil grade in as well for this bike. Yes, I know I'm kind of doing it. I'm kind of experimenting, I suppose, with it. Anyway, I don't think it's going to make much difference. But let us know in the comments below if you think that grade of oil will have a big issue. I don't think it will, but there we go. That's just me. Right, that's it for now. I thought I'd share that with you. Service your bike on regular intervals, I suppose, is the order of the day. It really depends what engine you've got and how the oil system works. You might have a separate gearbox, you might have a separate oil system for your gearbox as opposed to your engine. Depends on the bike. It might all be in one open case, as it were, and one lubrication system. So it might be splash lubricated. In this case, it's got oil pump, so it's feeding particular parts. And on this bike, on this engine, the gearbox is the last in the chain as well. So I'm very confident that these metal bits are not actually floating around the engine per se, they're just in here. But again, won't really know until that engine is split apart. I don't intend to do a lot of riding, and even if the engine does suffer some kind of problem, I know I've got to open it up anyway, so it's not a factor for me really. I'm not that concerned. Now, if let's say I wasn't intending on splitting the engine in a couple of months time, do you know what, I would actually do it now. This is exactly what I do, but you know what, I want to have a bit of fun with it whilst I'm here, and whilst I've got it all pretty much put back together again as well. But waiting on a couple of things, lots of videos coming as well. The website, you'll find there's a link on the sidebar to the project build, so it's all there if you're all interested. I've put all the maintenance manuals on there for Rieju bikes as well. They're all there, and I've got all torque figures there for you as well. So if you've got one of these bikes, or you think about getting one of these bikes, or different models, go check that page out. You might find that interesting. Anyway, right, look at that. Dear oh dear. I mean, there's a big old chunk there. I mean, look at that. So, I mean, that definitely looks like, you know, one of the teeth on the cogs. Definitely the gears, I should say. Right, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, like and share. Check out the website, RevelatorAlf.com. Ta-da.